There are but two undefeated teams in the Great Lakes Regional. One of these teams is about to take a big step toward Williamsport. Undefeateds New Albany of Indiana and Grosse Pointe of Michigan meet here at Grand Park as part of the Little League World Series. Michigan has mulled over its opponents with little duress. Indiana had to come from behind in its recent game to win 8-5. Greetings and welcome back to Westfield. Jim Barber and John Gregory. What contrasting offensive styles we have in this second game. Michigan batting .425, and John, Indiana nearly 200 points under that.
Yeah, it seems like it's been pitching and defense for Indiana and all types of offense from this Michigan team. But talking with the coaches, they said, don't really respect that. Things can change today.
Indiana has had a lot of people that have contributed, even with a poor batting average. In fact, 11 RBIs from 6 different players, like Jack Bile to begin with.
Well, you see that up and down this lineup. There's been no one standout so far offensively, but it seems like everybody's contributed.
Such as Luke Kruger, who has been big at the top of the lineup. And then there's Blaine Hamilton in the middle going the opposite way. And let us not forget about Landon Gum, who had a big 2 RBI hit in that 8-5 comeback. But for Michigan, it's long ball, and Jaron Purify can run like a deer.
Yeah, he certainly can. He is fun to watch. Look at those numbers. 5 of 6, 2 triples, a home run, 3 RBI, 3 runs. This guy has all the tools. He can run, he can hit with power, he can hit for average, and he can play some defense. He's electrifying.
Yeah, and he's not the only great Michigan player. We will introduce you to all of them when we come back. Michigan and Indiana. Michigan bats first in a showdown of undefeateds. Demanding assignment today for Indiana pitcher Chase Lush. He's going to have to go after a Michigan lineup that has been scorching lately with the bats. So Michigan's opportunity begins with Ryan Knable, who against Illinois threw a couple of innings, allowed a hit, 2 runs, walked 4, and struck out 5.
Yeah, you see the 5 strikeouts in 2 innings pitched. That's because he can get it up there pretty good. He'll throw it in the low 70s, has a really good off-speed pitch. The key for him today, you see those 4 base-on balls. He's got to avoid getting that pitch count up. They'd like for him to go a long way against this lineup today that's ready to finally start clicking for Indiana.
And Indiana feels that with this lineup, which can nickel and dime people, led by Maxwell Alexander at the top, John. Batting first is probably a key. They'll have all right-handers in there, minus just Cole Hewitt. And the 11 different players that have contributed runs batted in probably will help them in terms of trying to get the jump on Michigan. But I think when you talk to Brian Jackson, the manager of Indiana, it is almost imperative that they get out to a lead first.
And one of the things, as we talked to him before this ball game, being the visitors in this game, he'd prefer that. He'd like to get out front, and they'll have a chance right here to get this thing started.
For Michigan, number 0, Ryan Knable. And leading off for Indiana, number 11, the catcher, Max Alexander.
Max Alexander under the weather to start the tournament. Has felt well enough since then, and here we go. Trip to the finals is at stake. Kevin Southall, umpire behind home plate. Jeff Shuttle at first. Rex Fogel at second. John Chirilla is the umpire at third. Knable's 1-1. Maxwell Alexander has some pretty good baseball knowledge. He can really square up a pitch. He did right there. Base hit left field. Just the 12th hit of the regional for Indiana. But the good start that John talked about that manager Jackson would hope his team would get off to.
Yeah, you see him driving this ball between third and short. A good start for this team, as you mentioned. Let's see if they play some small ball here. They would love to get on the board first against this Michigan team and have them start to play from behind.
And here is some of that small ball, an attempted bunt by Luke Kruer. Luke comes into this game with 3 runs batted in, 1 for 4, a couple of runs scored. Brian Jackson, the manager, says this is one of the best players I've ever coached. And by the way, he has coached a bunch. Ball and a strike. Beautiful sunshine right now for this game. A threat of rain, but it's a minor one.
Now, right now, when you look at home plate umpire, some of the calls here, those are pitches that are pretty close to the strike zone that earlier we have seen these umpires call strikes on. So you're going to have to adjust. Both pitching staffs and the dugout and coaches talk about what their approach is going to be and what these umpires are going to give to them.
2-1. Towards second base. Just one play. In a scoring position goes Max Alexander, 1 out. Now Jack Bile.
Now batting for Indiana, the right fielder.
You've heard some guys
5,
describe
Jack
pitching
Bile.
on the mound. Some guys just have the ability to throw what they call a heavy ball that really is dead coming off the bat. Ryan Knable seems like that type of guy, throws a real heavy baseball, tough to lift out of the park.
Bile batting .500 in limited amount of attempts, 3 for 6, couple of runs scored, and he was hit by a pitch. Good looking stance, waves the bat, and takes the pitch for a ball. The count is even, a ball and a strike. The winner gets 2 days off and will play in the championship game for a trip to Williamsport. The loser's still alive but must come back in a couple of days to stay alive. Counting at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin Southall behind home plate. We'll see if, as the home plate umpire, faces as many challenges as we saw yesterday. Today was actually rather quiet. Three balls, 2 strikes. What do you think about the strike zone so far, John?
Well, it's a little smaller than what we've seen throughout this tournament so far.
Bile out on strikes. Now he'll run. And he's into first. And because there's no force on, he's going to reach on a drop third strike. So now first and second with one out.
Now batting for Indiana, number 16, third baseman, Landon.
Good breaking ball inside. Immediately gets away from the catcher. Not a quick reaction, and you can see reaction by your first baseman, not happy.
Landon Gum takes a fastball for a strike. They say he has his dad's baseball genes. Ernie, a fine baseball player in his own right, likely in attendance, and Landon is one that thrives in pretty tough situations. Here's one right here. Behind 2 strikes, batting in the 4th spot. Then Cody Jackson to follow.
Not a better opportunity for Indiana than this start right here if they can get some runs on the board to get this thing started quickly.
2 outs. Up to Cody Jackson, who has not had a hit in the regional so far, but he has walked and scored a run.
Boy, fastball around the upper chest area around the eyeballs, and he tried to chase it and miss it. That's why you see Knebel with a lot of strikeouts, 5 in those 2 innings.
Nearly 70 miles an hour. This one considerably slower, but a good change for an opening strike. Cody's a battler at the plate. And if it's up to Indiana, they're going to try to work some counts today. But right now, Ryan Knebel's jumped on him. 2 strikes and nothing.
And with 2 breaking balls.
See if he comes back with a fastball. Inning is over. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. Indiana had a scoring chance, but leaves 2. The electrifying Michigan offense for the first time in a moment. Chase Lush on the mound for Indiana, threw 3 2/3 against Kentucky, allowed a hit, a run, and 53 pitches. Walked 3 and struck out 5, and so what's important for him today against the lineup in the top 4 that's 17 of 24, John?
Yeah, I think his job today is to try to keep him off balance, and that's with his fastball, curveball, changeup that he has the ability to throw. He's going to have to locate it well against these guys, but the one thing you got to do, try to prevent, is giving up any free passes, because when they get on the base, they can take an extra base, they can run. So keeping them off the bases, I think, is going to be key today.
Reggie Sharp leads off. He is 4 for 8 in the lineup. Then it's Jaron Purify. You have seen his highlights already. Ryan Knebel's hardly a slouch. Knebel's 5 for 7 with 5 runs scored. Then it's Brennan Hill, who's hit a couple of homers. Oliver Service, Preston Barr, Cameron Schaefer, Jace Mazie, and Jake Martin. Third base coach and manager is Kurt Barr, who assured us before the game, look, I know they think we're just 1 through 5. We're better than that. And here's number 1 leading off the inning. Picking up where he left off with his 5th hit in a regional. Gets a high five from Pop. And Michigan is setting the table
Michigan
already.
third baseman, number
Well,
6,
Kurt Barr said that they're going to be
Purified.
very patient at the plate. I said, unless you have your leadoff guy stroke one out of the ballpark and he likes the first pitch. And he said, well, if it goes that way, it's okay.
There are
But-
exceptions to every rule.
Yes, there is, especially when you have that guy at the plate.
Here is Jared Purify. What's that great Disney line from Pirates of the Caribbean? They're not rules, they're more like guidelines.
Yeah, well, throw them out. When you have guys like this that can swing the bat, let it rip.
You had a chance to bump into Jaron earlier today. What'd you think as a person?
Well, it was funny. I talked to him walking in and said, I admire your game. You're pretty good. I know it's early. You're thinking about any colleges out there or what's in your mind? And he said, well, I'd like to go to Vanderbilt, to be honest with you.
Wow.
So pretty impressive.
And a humble kid.
Yes.
The words of manager Barr, better kid than he is player.
That also reflects in the choice of school, too, I think, right there, and your ability to do the classwork and get into a place like that. That's pretty lofty goals for him, and I'm happy to see that.
Absolutely. He stays alive with a ball and 2 strikes. Ryan Knable, the pitcher, bats third. The most dangerous offensive lineup in this tournament. By the way, the third Michigan coach is Melissa Henderson. They call her Mrs. Hendo because they refer to her son Ryan as Hendo. And she's in the dugout. Also coaches the Grosse Pointe North High girls basketball team. Again, 1-2. A bullet down the third base line, hit the bag. Sharp around second, gonna slide into third. That's a double for Purify. Man, Michigan didn't take long, did it?
We mentioned Purify's ability to drive the baseball out of the ballpark. Watch this line drive right off the third base bag. Fortunately, I think for
Michigan
Indiana,
pitcher,
that
number
ball
0,
pops straight up in
Ryan
the air.
Knable.
If that thing goes down the line, Purify standing on third base and Sharp's across the plate.
Now the pitcher, Ryan Knable. Table set nicely. They're going to try it home. The throw, save! Reggie Sharp with his speed beat it. Now a runner heading down to second. He is safe. And Michigan, which often takes advantage on the bases of the opposition, is rolling right now, leading in this game on a slide by Sharp, 1-0.
Cody Jackson did everything right at the shortstop position. The throw was down toward the first base side of home plate, and the catcher had to bring his glove all the way around. That allowed Sharp, who's got great speed down at third base, to score. But Alexander did everything he could with that swipe tag, but not able to get him.
So 8 pitches in. Michigan, John already has a run and 2 runners in scoring position. No hit for Ryan Knable, but nonetheless gets the job done with a lot of help from Reggie Sharp.
Now batting for Michigan, number 11, Brennan Hill.
Here's the dangerous Brennan Hill. 3 for 3 with 6 batted in. A pair of 2-run homers. Infield playing back at normal depth, especially with the bat speed of this kid. Concede a run, but at least get it out. Toward right field, dipping down the foul line, and what a catch in right field. Jack Bio on a sliding catch retires Brennan Hill. Run scores, and Ryan Knable in the meantime moves over to third, but this is a terrific play.
Bile had to go a long way to make this catch out there sliding. Hopefully that leg's okay. You can see it go from grass to dirt right there. Kind of stubbed the knee a little bit, but I think he's okay. And makes a nice throw to the plate, but you're not going to get Purified with that speed.
Now Oliver Service at the plate, batting 5th. Michigan 2, Indiana nothing. Oliver 0 for 4. You'll likely see in a game-tying situation or game-winning situation, an outfielder might elect to let it drop.
Right.
In other words, if you're going to get beat on a sac fly, but I don't think this early you would entertain that idea, would you?
No, I don't think so, and it goes along with what you were saying. The infield was playing back. You want to get an out and try to prevent that big inning here at the beginning of the game.
2 balls and a strike on Mr. Service. Oliver had a walk-off double to win a game in the state semifinals in Michigan. 0 for 4 here. He has scored twice. Spanked to center field. Up against the fence. Ryan Knable scores easily. Oliver Service, he's pumped up his first hit of the regional. 3-0 Michigan.
You said there's not just the top 5 in this lineup. Well, there's some proof there. Well, he is the 5th guy in this lineup, so now we're going to see where they go from there. But Service, he's the guy that said, you know, he can light it up too. So they up and down this lineup, they've just got great depth, speed, and power.
Well, I think they could put Service anywhere. You could put him 6 through 9 and still have the same effect. I mean, it feels like they've already been through the lineup once, John. Jumping out 3-0. There's still just 1 out for Preston Barr. Preston will be 13 years of age on Sunday. Three for 6 in the tournament. Couple of runs batted in and a run scored. He's also reached on an error twice. Last game of double elimination in the Great Lakes. And we've got a down catcher. Maxwell Alexander. Hands around the groin area, but either way, just a lot of discomfort right now. Also holding his right hand, too.
He's got to be okay. Got to rub it off. That's just the woes of a catcher back there. If it hasn't happened to you already, it's going to happen to you as a catcher.
Toughest position on the planet in baseball.
No question about it. And usually the toughest guys are back there behind the plate, and Alexander would fit right into that category.
You're right, he'll stay on. 18 pitches for Chase Lush, trying to get rid of Preston Barr and get the second out. This inning began when Reggie Sharp singled. Jaron Purify came up and doubled. Fielder's choice, sacrifice fly, and then a base hit by Oliver Service, 3-0. This one headed towards short. Long way to throw, not in time. Preston Barr beats it. 4th hit of the inning for Michigan. Even when you think you got them, you don't have them.
No, and again, Cody Jackson does nothing wrong. Ball into the gap, gets the ball immediately, throws it over to first base, but good speed by Barr and maybe better base running by Oliver Service, electing not to go to third base on that ground ball to the left side.
He asked manager Kurt Barr at third base about the opportunity to go to Williamsport. As this one is skied toward right field on the edge of the infield. 2 outs. And Barr doesn't mix any words. He says this would be a dream come true. And this Michigan team is right now putting that dream into place.
Michigan right fielder number 10, Chase Mazie.
Right fielder Chase Mazie. Pretty good hockey player. He was part of 3 hockey championships, playing in the Quebec Pee Wee Hockey Association. In fact, he played before 10,000 people.
Wow.
In the land that loves hockey.
Well, if he thinks that crowd's big, let's see if they make it to the World Series.
Yeah. Nicknamed Bubba. 2 strikes on him.
he'll see some pretty big crowds there, won't he?
Oh, yes, he will. Not to mention a Major League Baseball game between the Mets and Phillies. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3 in. Mazie batting 8th for Michigan. Michigan came in outscoring its opponents 19-4, out hitting them 23-5. Jumping right on top of Indiana. Inning over, but 8 come to the plate. 3 score. Table set by the 1 and 2 hitters, and then capped off by Oliver Service with an RBI double. To the Indiana second, Chase Lush will lead it off. Someday Will Power will have his vehicle ready to go for 2019. You saw it moments ago. He won the 2018 race, getting past Ed Carpenter and Scott Dixon to take the checkered flag. That's the Indianapolis 500 Motor Speedway Museum, located on the west side of Indy. For an event that attracts well over 150,000 fans every year. To the Indiana second, and pitcher Chase Lush to lead off. Against Ryan Knable in the first inning, they're able to put 2 men aboard, but were unable to score.
Two breaking balls to start. We've seen him do that. Then he comes back with a fastball, shows it, and then comes back with the breaking ball. Let's see where he goes here.
Strong and versatile batter. Says if he was given a walk-up song in Little League, it'd be Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I think it's amped up.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Looks like started 4 breaking balls. Jake Martin wanted that pitch outside the third pitch, and he got it right over the plate. Just missed high. Missed with another breaking ball there.
Ryan Jackson, again, the manager, head coach, or coach at third base, says we got to have good plate discipline, and Lush has had it so far, working an 0-2 count full.
Knable's pitch count up to 25 already, too, and no outs here in the second, so numbers are a little high. You'd like to see less balls, 15 strikes, 10 balls. You'd like to see a little bit better strikes ratio there.
Comes back and gets the strikeout. 4 in a row. He has fanned 1 out for Brian Wall.
He's just one of those guys, as you see the fastball on the corner, can't catch up with it. But he's one of those guys that, you've seen him before, I've seen him all the time, that can walk the bases loaded, then strike out the side. He just has that type of ability.
Now Wall, the 7th hitter in Brian Jackson's lineup. Reminds you of the old line about when Mitch Williams pitched for the Phillies, and he would often come in and load the bases before getting everybody out. And Jim Grosse, his manager, was asked about it one time. He said, well, just your typical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inning for Mitch. Managers would prefer some expediency in getting rid of the opposition, but not all pitchers are like that. Wall is ahead as a batter, 2 balls.
You know, it's some of those guys, too, that have the ability to throw it by guys, but sometimes they try to be a little bit too cute, and I'm not saying that's the situation here, but some guys will try to pitch around guys when they really don't have to because they have such explosive fastballs or a nice breaking ball.
Yeah, I would suppose there are not too many managers on any level of baseball, John, that would prefer their pitcher to come at a hitter regardless of whether they're overpowering or not and force the defense or allow the defense to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
On 5 pitches, though, Wall is aboard with the first walk of the game for Indiana. Now Blaine Hamilton, the first baseman, is stepping up.
Now batting for Indiana, the first baseman, 32, Blaine Hamilton.
Blaine wanted to let us know he has a double-jointed thumb. Given his druthers, because he loves fishing, he would like to be a professional fisherman and fish around the world.
Well, we're saying some of these guys love fishing so much they'll catch them in the dugout talking about different types of lures out there and what they're using right during the middle of the baseball game.
Shop talk. Indiana, a 3-0 hole. In a game between 2 undefeated teams, the winner to the championship. Wild pitch, down to second base, Brian Wall. Well, the book on Michigan is that if you can wait them out and allow some of these counts to go a little deeper than usual, you've got a chance. Good plate discipline, the emphasis from manager Jackson. 3-1.
Knebel took something off of that pitch, and you could see because of that he was more accurate. Sometimes maybe just tries to overthrow a bit. He's a guy that throws it hard.
2 aboard. Clay Matvick and Chris Burke will take you the rest of the way with coverage starting tomorrow morning on ESPN. And right now, Indiana trying to avoid an elimination game on Friday. It's got a threat going here in the second. And it is true, the team from New Albany is running up the pitch count of Ryan Knebel.
Special pinch runner, number 23, Cooper Anderson.
Going to get a visit to the mound, too. Kurt Barr coming out to talk with his pitcher, and first thing he's going to tell him is we just need to throw strikes here. We got a 3-0 lead. We've got a great offense, and we need you on the mound to not give up free passes.
Again, Indiana's a team coming in hitting well under 250, and yet is here in a position to get to the championship game undefeated.
And that's a tribute to how they play defense, I think.
Oh, yes. Kurt Barr is well aware of that, too. Last thing he wants is for these bases to be filled with runners that are getting free passes. Cole Hewitt, the number 9 hitter in the Indiana lineup, who can cover a lot of ground, both defensively and off the plate, heading toward first base. Showing bunt. And ball 1.
I think that's part of the contrasting styles that you mentioned at the top of the show. In this Indiana team, pitching, defense, then hitting. Pretty much just almost the opposite for this Michigan team. I think it starts with hitting, then defense, and finally pitching.
Down to third base and into the outfield. That's going to score a run. Throw from Jake Barton bounced around the third base bag. Coverage was late. And Indiana on the board, 3-1.
Boy, heads up play. Purify, the third baseman, was way in toward the hitter. Nobody was at third base. That's a heads up base running move there to steal third base, and because of that, they get a run in on the wild throw down to third.
Kind of unfortunate that the catcher gets tagged with it, but he gets the error. And Ryan Knebel is having some difficulty finding the strike zone as he approaches pitch number 40. In this matchup of small ball versus long ball. Another walk in the second. Back-to-back-to-back walks after first inning, John, in which Ryan Knebel got back-to-back-to-back strikeouts.
Number 11, Maxwell Alexander.
Maxwell Alexander singled in the first. Good scoring opportunity for Indiana, trailing 3-1. I think we can pretty much assume it's almost impossible to shut down Michigan. So if that's going to happen, you're going to have to get in a relatively high-scoring game to have a chance.
And I think back to the first inning when they had their leadoff runner on, they tried to bunt him over, and I think it was a good move early to try to get that run on the board.
Now with a wild pitch, runners are in scoring position where a hit would tie the game.
Going back to that first inning, they were laying down a bunt to try to move him over, I think with the idea of let's get on the board, but knowing it's going to take a little bit more than 1 or 2 runs to beat this Michigan team. And now we're going to get a pitching change immediately.
In the game where manager Barr wants to regain control, Ryan Knebel will leave, and Michigan will make a change and will go to a left-hander. And you'll meet him here in a moment.
Center field. Moving from center field.
Ryan Knebel now moves from the mound to center field. Oliver Service from center to left. And here's Brennan Hill, the left-handed thrower. Who stands 5'9" and 140 pounds. A lot earlier than Kurt Barr would like to have gone to him. Here now in the second.
Well, we've seen the righties that can throw it for this Michigan team in the low 70s. Hill is from the left side, but he can do the same thing. Fastball is going to be his focus, and all of these guys have said we're going to stay with fastballs until they prove they can hit it. Right now, they just need to prove that they can throw it across the plate.
Ball gets away, runner going to try to score, and he does, and it is 3-2. So Cooper Anderson comes home, and it's now 2 runs in the inning, John, without a hit.
Yeah, I was going to say Indiana finding a way again to score some runs, just like they have throughout this entire regional, by not getting a bunch of hits, but putting the right connections together.
So now with just 1 out, an infield grounder, especially if it's not hit hard, will tie this game. Maxwell chases 1 out of the zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's a big out for Michigan if it can get it. It's all started after 1 was out. Be an interesting line score if Indiana gets the tying run in, John, without a hit. That'd be 3 runs on no hits in the inning.
Goes back to what we were talking about, when you can load up the bases with walks and then strike out the side. Knebel not able to get the strikeouts like he did in the first inning.
Well, that's an important strikeout there. Brennan Hill gets Alexander 1 out. Now Luke Crewer.
The Indiana left fielder, number 8, Luke
Fastball
Crewer.
inside, not able to catch up with it. Maxwell and Alexander take a nice cut at it, just missed swinging through that.
Luke Crewer was 1 for 5 in the regional, 0 for 1 today. He has 3 runs batted in. Says his mom, Kim, wears the same shirt for all championship games. Never changes.
Well, with a win today, she can put on that championship shirt.
Yep. As the winner gets to Saturday to play for the title. Loser comes back Friday and will have to play through the loser's bracket to get to Saturday's big affair. Count 2-0. 10th pitch from Brennan Hill. As he takes something off of it, 2-1. Hill will work from the windup once again.
Please return that sailboat to your dugout. Thank you.
Tough position for Brennan Hill, but he can get out of it with a strikeout. And he does. Nice relief work. But because of a couple of wild pitches and an error, and certainly because of 3 walks, Indiana fights back. 2 runs on no hits. They lead the tying run at third. Back to the Michigan lineup in a moment. If Michigan wins the Great Lakes Regional this year, it'll be the 3rd title for the state in 6 years. Kentucky did back-to-back in 2015 and 16, and a pretty good Indiana team got it in 2014. That was retroactively awarded in light of the
Michigan, the catcher,
Jackie
number 5,
Robinson Little
Jake
League controversy
Martin.
that took place. Jake Barton will start the Michigan second. The only batter not to get to the plate in the first. Now the Michigan fans and the Michigan dugout starting to get into it. Well, for Indiana, important not to have a give-back inning. They got 2. He had to shut them down. That's so interesting, John. We brought it up before, but major leaguers talk about that.
Oh, it's important. Especially, you're that team out there. It gives you some confidence. You want to get back in the dugout as quick as possible. And players are ready to get up there. And we say hitting's contagious, and that's all part of it, too. If you're hitting well, you want to get to the plate as quick as possible. And if you're standing out there, runs are scoring, that just takes away from that momentum that you have.
On a drop third, Jake Barton retired, now 1 for 6 in the regional. Back to the top of the order for Michigan and Reggie Sharp, who got his 5th hit of the regional and scored his 5th run back in the first. But he's got more than single ability. He's got that long ball touch, and when he cranks it up, man, what a sweet swing.
He hit that one. There was no doubter.
Again, his dad is the first base coach. He's out running earlier today before the games got started. I told him I would tell the world that he's doing his best to keep his physical fitness in line. He still swears it'd be a more than even matchup with his son as you look at dad on the left and youngster on the right in a foot race. But Kurt Barr said maybe 20 years ago, or if it was you of that venture, not now. Reggie takes out 2 strikes, 1 and 2.
Yep, Junior would beat him 9.5, 9 3/4 out of 10 times. The way he wouldn't is if Junior fell down.
Gosh, I hope Dad doesn't get a tape of this broadcast. Reggie Sharp, what a pretty swing. Back-to-back hits for him in the game, and now 6 of 10 in the regional for 600 batting average. I like his stroke, John.
Yep, the ability to get it through the zone. He's not a real big kid, but he's got that power, and he's got the ability to get that bat speed. He's fast. He's got those fast twitch muscles that allow that back to get through the zone quickly.
Now Jaron Purify, the number 2 hitter, batting for the 2nd time. Purify has 5 extra base hits in the regional. 5 of his 6 hits. 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. Maybe there's some interested watchers, youngsters that say, wow, chicken Alfredo is his favorite. Maybe there's something to that.
I'm saying there's something to it right now.
It's delicious. You can start with that. 1-1 pitch. Spanked down the left field line. Sharp around second. Sharp around third. Headed home, they won't get him. Purify now headed to third. They won't get him either. We've seen this act before, John.
Well, there's one thing to be fast, but very knowledgeable on the base pass too. As he hits this down the line, he's thinking 3 out of the box, and Sharp comes around to score. He hesitates, and I say he, Purify at second base, waits for the throw to the plate, and then advances to third base on that throw.
They have given Jaron a double. Third base on that throw you referred to. 6 extra base hits in the regional. You were spot on when you were trying to pick the most outstanding player just as the tournament began, and this kid has got a wow factor to him. Going to be another pitching change coming up.
Yep, some guys, you know what they say, the it factor? Well, he has the it factor.
Well, we talked about Michigan's championship last year. Let's show you some pictures from that. Michigan against Illinois. Game that Michigan won 6-3.
Ground ball through for a base hit from Wisniewski. Green coming home. He will score. We're tied at 2. Throw gets away. It's 3-2. This is tagged to left. Has a chance. Gone. Home run. Boggs, the comebacker. Blob to first. And Michigan has won the ball game. Grosse Pointe is headed to Williamsport.
ESPN's Clay Matvick with a call. He and Chris Burke will be around here starting tomorrow. And they'll be seeing Michigan in either an elimination game or the championship. And right now, the way Reggie Sharp and Jaron Purify are electrifying the top of the lineup. Michigan's chances for the championship are looking solid.
Now
Luke
batting
Kruger
for
becomes the
Michigan,
third
center fielder, number
Indiana
0,
pitcher.
Ryan Knable.
And we're just in the second inning. Luke Kruger, besides moving from left to the mound, as this one gets away and another run scores. Has a couple other defensive changes. Everybody off the bases because Jaron Purify has just come in and it is 5-2 and Indiana has given its 2 runs back. Ryan Knable with a pop-up to right field. So the top 2 in the Michigan lineup are 4 for 4. 4 runs scored and a run batted in.
Foul ball to the nearest dugout. Thank you.
Just who in the world is going to be able to contain this lineup, John?
It's going to take one of those efforts. You know, I was talking with Coach Barr before this, and we've seen this before, though. Teams that dominate, but then they run into the championship game, and guess what? They face that one dominant pitcher that can shut them down for a particular day. So he knows, as well as this team scoring runs right now, it could be that one day where you run into that one pitcher. So they're trying to keep these guys understanding that there's still a lot more to go.
Comebacker, pitcher to pitcher, 1 out. Make that 2 outs. Michigan will get a couple of days off. Regardless of who wins this game, they will get 2 days off before the Saturday championship. The loser has to come back on Friday.
For Michigan, the pitcher, number 11, Brennan Hill.
There's Brennan Hill, who had a sacrifice fly the last time. He has 7 runs batted in the regional. So Indiana has had to go to the bullpen twice. Ball 1. Tough position for Luke Kruger. Team down 5-2, but there's nobody out, or 2 outs rather, here in the second. And a chance to get back to the Indiana bets in a moment. Strikes out Brennan Hill. Back to the Michigan highlights. Scorched by Jaron Purify down the line.
2 runs on 2 hits.
And off the pass ball, the 2 runs they gave up, they get back.
8.
of the two teams playing today may have a chance to extend its summer. The winner gets to the championship game on Saturday. Right now, Michigan upper hand, 5-2 as we start the third. Jack Bile to lead it off. Then Landon Gum and Cody Jackson. Brennan Hill in relief for Michigan. This Michigan team has now outscored the opposition 24-6 in the 3 games it's been participating in. Every time I see a high chopper, I think about all the infield hits, John, we have seen throughout this regional. The ones that have gone fair and have been so much trouble for pitchers and third basemen to handle.
Yep. We have seen our share of those.
Jack Bile, Landon Gum, Cody Jackson, and Indiana will need a few more. As in the second inning, it played at 6 or put 6 up to the plate. That is foul.
I thought it was interesting, Jim, talking with Kurt Barr before the game, how he was saying how difficult it is, how many good pitchers that this team has faced. You know, Grosse Pointe's Wood Shores is not just Grosse Pointe. There's 2 other little leagues in that area in Grosse Pointe. So, and they say they'll always face the best pitchers to try to get out of there, but yet they still, throughout their entire state run, through the districts and everything, outscored opponents 72-17. In addition to what you were talking about, what they've done here.
So Michigan's approaching 100 runs, John, since their run here to Indianapolis. Count 3-2 on Jack Bile, and Michigan pitchers continue to throw deep into a count, which only will give Indiana some hope. But this good off-speed pitch by Brennan Hill retires Jack Bile. 1 out. I love the off-speed pitch, especially when a hitter is anticipating fastball.
Yep, just gets him out front, and you can see him leaning on that front foot trying to hit it. And if he does hit it, it's not going to get through the infield more than likely.
Landon Gum to the plate.
Thank you.
Ryan Knable and now Brennan Hill have struck out 7 combined. There's also been a ground out. You're probably adding it up saying, wait a minute, that's 8 outs. There's only been 7 in the game, but it was a drop third strike in which an Indiana batter reached base.
On that other side, Indiana, they had a 5-1 state record. They lost to Highland Baseball Club 6-5 in 9 innings in a winner's bracket game. But then they were able to come back and beat them in the title game 7-1. So this team, although they're behind here, even if they lose this game, it's happened to them before, and they know how to fight back. And they're still in this thing right now. I mean, we're only in the 3rd inning. It's a 3-run ball game, so anything can happen in this one.
Loser this game would come back on Friday at 5 o'clock. The winner goes right to the championship game for a 5 o'clock game on Saturday. Brennan Hill looking for another strikeout. Didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Michigan 5 runs on 6 hits. Indiana a couple of runs on 1 hit. His out pitch is terrific. He has now struck out 4 straight.
And again on the breaking ball, watch the catcher behind home plate. He gets some help from the catcher as he kind of catches it, pulls it back a bit. You don't want to do it too much. It gives it away to the umpire, but he makes it look natural as he's catching that ball and bringing the glove down toward home plate at the same time. That was a really good look at that.
Yeah, Jake Barton certainly knows how to frame it, doesn't he? Indiana's going to make a substitution.
Number 6, Maddox Culpepper.
And Maddox Culpepper will bat for Cody Jackson. Always wonder in that situation what little leaguers talk about when there's a break. Get out to the mound. We saw in a recent game, I think it was yesterday, where Wisconsin kids were jumping around to the chicken dance.
And if they saw it, they're probably thinking, why don't they play the chicken dance when we're out here?
What's something we do?
We would do that.
Yeah. Still trying to understand the floss here, though.
I was going to say, maybe they even floss something.
I am well aware now it's a dance. Count 3 balls, no strikes. Indiana has been given 3 walks in the game, which led with an error and some wild pitches to a couple of runs. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fourth walk given to Indiana batters. Culpepper fires the bat away and the inning stays alive.
Culpepper, he'll battle you at the plate. He's one of those guys comes off the bench and he'll pinch run. He'll do all the little things, but he's a tough out at the plate.
I would agree.
Re-entering for Indiana, now running at first.
Cody Jackson will run for him at first.
And
there'll be a pitch hitter, Caden Reed.
Caden Reed.
Big Brennan Hill ready to throw to Caden. Caden, by the way, nicknamed Captain Chaos. And his mantra is, practice makes perfect. Oh, look out. Runner headed to second base.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah. So Indiana pitchers now, or Indiana hitters, have been the recipients of 4 walks, an error on the part of Michigan, and also 3 Michigan wild pitches towards second base. Couple of hops, inning over. Handled well by Reggie Sharp. After 3, or 2.5 rather, Michigan 5, Indiana 2. Oliver Service gets it started in the Michigan 3rd.
For Indiana at the top of the 3rd inning, they're running. 1 runner left on base. Pitch count for Michigan.
Looking for training and information for coaches, umpires, league volunteers, and parents? You can get free backyard tips, practice plans, drills, videos, and more by visiting littleleagueuniversity.org today.
Leading off the home half of the 3rd inning for Michigan.
Williamsport,
Left fielder,
Pennsylvania.
number 13,
It's changed rather
Oliver
dramatically over the
Service.
years, with those old-time pictures are classic. Oliver Service to lead off the 3rd. Michigan with 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. Indiana with 2 in the 2nd. And it's a 5-2 game. Jim Barber, John Gregory, and Oliver, who favors the Toronto Blue Jays, will try to get it started. He can play 6 different positions in the field. Very versatile and welcome sight for a coach.
One thing that'll change about that Little League World Series, those crowds. How about the crowds back then? Still packed, surrounding the fields.
It was a must-see then, and it's a must-see now. In fact, we've got visitors from the state of Texas who watched the Texas Little League Regional there. We thought, hey, you know, let's go see another good regional, try this place out, and hang around for a week.
I ran into them a couple nights ago, talked to them just before this game here, too, today. They're here all week long.
How cool is that? 4 pitches, Oliver Service on base the second time today with a walk. First walk distributed by
Michigan
Indiana pitching.
Number 12, Preston Barr.
Now Preston Barr.
Teaches engineering at Baylor University. Taking the time to be here. Would love to go to the Little League World Series, but first week of classes, he says, it's tough to get away to be able to do that.
Up the middle, and everybody's safe. McClure had a handle on it, but neither short or second base. Cody Jackson or Brian Wall could come up with it. And it's first and second, nobody out on the inside, or the infield hit by Preston Barr.
Jackson, other side of the bag. Trying to make the play to cut it off, not able to do it. Again, a threatening situation for this Michigan team with speed on the bases.
Number 8,
Elliot Niederhood will step up. So a walk and an infield hit. Michigan's 7th of the game. Well, what did Kurt Barr tell us before the game? Look, we're not just 1 through 5. Preston Barr, bat 6, got a couple of hits in the game. There's a chance for Elliot Niederhood to come through. Indiana wants a chance in this game to win. It must shut down the latter part of this lineup. If it gets the board and sets the table, it's back to the top, and that top's been virtually unstoppable. Headed to left field. Nice stop at third base, and the throw to first is wide. Surface is going to score. They're going to send a second man around to score. And on the throwing error, Michigan gets 2 more. It's 7-2. And the ball has not got out of the infield here in the third.
And Landon Gum fielded the ball well. Just a little bit of a mental mistake there. He could have just tagged the runner and waited, or went back to third base for the force out. Instead, he got crossed up a bit, decided he needed to get the runner down at first. And unfortunately, that allowed 2 more runs to score.
Now you think about it, on that ground ball that was headed past the pitcher, that could have been an out as well. Brian Jackson, BJ, the manager, is pretty frustrated. You can't blame him. It's one thing when Michigan beats you with power, but then with its own version of small ball, baseballs that should be handled, then the manager's probably thinking to himself, what else can I do here? What else can be done?
Number 4,
yeah, the thing is, they just threaten you so much on the bases.
True.
Kind of get you out of your game a bit. And I'll tell you what, if you can get Indiana out of their defensive mode, that's something, because this team has been spectacular on the defensive side heading into this game here today.
That's a solid point. I mean, they put you on the defense early because of the way they hit the ball. And then suddenly the simple things you should be able to handle aren't always handled accordingly. Runner third, nobody out.
What happens is they've got such good speed, it rushes you a little bit more.
Toward right center field, dropping in. Marwin Matthews, a pinch hitter, comes through. 8-2 Michigan. First hit of the inning.
Matthews off the bench, attacking right away, taking it the opposite direction and picking up that another RBI for him.
Now Ryan Henderson. Mom Melissa, one of the assistant coaches in the dugout. So everybody in the bottom of this order, minus the 9 spot, either has a hit or has reached base. And you already know about the top group, 1 through 5. Caught, chance for a double play, and not in time. Brian Wall came back in the edge of the outfield edge of the infield into the outfield grass, and that's the first put out of the inning. And now here comes Reggie Sharp batting for the 3rd time at the top of the order in 3 innings.
Now batting for Michigan, second baseman, number 1, Reggie Sharp.
1, 2, 3 has been pretty scary today. 5 for 6, 2 RBIs, 5 runs scored. Oh yeah, and then the rest of them are just 4 for 10.
Yeah, 400 on a day, ho-hum, right?
Pretty shabby, huh? What's wrong with this lineup?
Kurt Barr told us that too, as you said already, and you mentioned it, that it's not just the top 5. Up and down this lineup, we've just seen guys off the bench doing the same thing.
Michigan just has a confidence about it in the first 3 games we've seen, John, which they don't rush up to the plate. They walk up, they take their position, they do their job, and man, they just blast the ball. Doesn't seem to be a weak link in this group. And a good baseball IQ, understanding situations too.
Yeah.
Like Sharp, not jumping on a 2-0 pitch. Hey, a walk's just as good for me right now. He has 2 hits. Make it 3. Reggie Sharp, 3 for 3, 2 base hits to left field, 1 to center. 7 hits in the regional now, 11 at bats. Handshake from his pop. A reminder of the out situation. And now here's Jaron Purify.
Michigan third baseman, number 6, Jaron Purify.
Fastball, you see him pull his hands in again to get the big part of the bat on it and drive that through the zone. And now another dangerous situation here with 2 runners on and Purify at the plate.
Ball gets away, and now runners go to second and third. Well, it's hard to ask, but Indiana doesn't want to lose concentration here. This game will end either this inning or the next by the run rule. Got to regroup. I would almost pitch around Purify.
And then you have to face Knable.
Oh yeah, it gets a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, with the bases loaded. I'll tell you. Brian Jackson, coach for Indiana before the ball game, said they had a game plan, maybe who they were going to pitch around. And I think maybe without telling us, this is my thought that they were thinking about.
And yet a good pitch off speed from Luke Kruer, strike 1. Sign over there, framed left-handed corner, go number 6, Purify. How about this, John? Jaron has been retired once since Michigan has retired here. That was on a ground out.
Thank you.
Making every at-bat count. When you get to this level, this regional, knowing you're 1 step away, it's a pretty good day, pretty good week.
Again down the left field line. 2 more home. He's done this 3 times. Heading for a triple. He is a joy to watch. He says he speaks some French, so let's throw a word at him. Magnifique, as in magnificent.
Yes, another ball that he yanks down that third base line. He hit one off the third base bag. That would have been a triple. He hit another one down the line that he got a double on, and then he turned the Jets on that way. Was not going to be denied that triple. Nothing I don't think you can throw up there that this guy can't turn around.
No.
He's just that good of a player, and you got to give credit where credit's due. And all of these coaches that we've talked to on the other side know it, and they've said it.
Tell you what, though, John, you pinned him accurately after maybe his first at bat. You said this is going to be the best player in this tournament, and you are spot on.
Well, sometimes you get lucky, but if you've been around the game long enough, you just notice guys, and when they walk onto the field, and he's one of them.
Indiana, with Brian Wall coming on, will make a pitching change. Michigan has scored 5 in the inning, and it's not done.
Pitching change for Indiana. After throwing 29 pitches, number 8, Luke Crewer, returns to left field. Moving from left field over to right field, number 5, Jack Bile. From right field to third base, number 0, Chase Lush. From second base to the mound, number 9, Brian Wall. And from third base over to second base, number 16, Landon Gum.
Well, maybe, just maybe, the former second baseman, Brian Wall, can solve Michigan. He's going to get an opportunity here with still just 1 out in the third. And his team in a big-time hole. A team that has a lead of 15 runs or more after the third inning, and we're in the bottom of the third, game is over. The team has a lead of 10 runs or more after the fourth inning, or 3.5 innings if the home team has had, which is the case with Michigan. Game is over.
Michigan, the center fielder, number 0, Ryan Knable.
Here's Ryan Knable. So if it reaches a 10-run difference, Indiana will still have a chance in the fourth to bat. And Ryan Knable, all he has done is gone 5 for 9 in the regional.
Boy, it's almost been overshadowed what he's done.
Yes.
Because every time it's Purify who cleans the bases, and Knable gets up with him on.
But this is smacked to center field and off the fence. Purify scores. Another chance for a triple. On the overthrow, here comes the runner. Michigan scores again. Ryan Knable switching a double into a triple on the overthrow, comes home.
Wow. This thing was hot off the bat here, straight off the center field wall, and that's into a dead wind that's blowing from left field to right field. Remember we talked about Purify's speed up and down the lineup. Knable just taking the extra base.
Well, I do appreciate Kurt Barr trying to sell us on the idea that he's not just 1 through 5. I would agree. But 1 through 5 is pretty scary.
Yes.
Comebacker. Second base will try to handle, and that's an overthrow. Brendan Hill will take a second base. You know, these runners, they don't even think twice about taking the extra base. If the ball gets away, gone.
No hesitation at all.
So 9 have batted in this inning.
Left fielder, 13,
Michigan has scored 7.
Remember we said because of the speed, and you see no hesitation as Hill goes into second base, because of the speed that they have defensively, it just makes you speed up a little bit more.
Sure.
You know, you feel like you have to rush the throw over to first base, and because of that, you're not as accurate as you normally would be.
And it's a deflated Indiana defense right now. The pitchers haven't been able to solve Michigan, and the defense has had its frustrations as well. But the encouraging news is no matter how this ends, and it's going to end with a Michigan win, Indiana still has life, has a day to recoup, and will play in the losers bracket game, elimination game on Friday.
Yeah, and if this stands, like I said before, they lost to Highland Baseball Club 6-5 in that 9-inning game. They could have went and hit after that. But no, they didn't decide, and the coach says, you know, that loss to Highland made them a better team. So they've been there before when they've lost in the winner's bracket, and they've had to come back, and they won that title game. So this is a team that's going to fight and continue to come back.
Oliver Service started this inning innocently enough with a walk. In fact, the inning began with a walk, an infield hit, and an error. Then after Marwin Matthews came through with a hit to the outfield and a line out, back to the top of the order. Single, triple, double, run scored. In fact, all runs scored. Top 3 have scored 8 runs for Michigan. game has gone an hour and 15 minutes, and it feels like Michigan has been at the plate for that length of time.
Wow. You know, Oliver Service, the guy at the plate that you're talking about, can play multiple positions for you. How about him as a utility guy?
Utility.
Yeah, being able to play all over and what he can do at the plate.
Barely gets a hold of that one. Remains a ball, 2 strikes, and I like what Service did there. I mean, he sprinted right down to first base, even though it was apparent to us the ball was fouled.
Yep, and I think that's the little things that they do right. This is a very good team, and they can know it. And I know they know they're a very good team, but they're so well coached, I think, in the discipline that they have. They don't show anybody up.
Now to right center field. It's like batting practice for these hitters. Another run scoring. Service says, I'm going to try for a triple. It is 13-2, and they're going in for the kill.
Well, again, here's a perfect example. That Service getting a triple, gets to the bag, just kind of puts his head down, and, you know, they know that they've got this game pretty much under control, but the way they respect the other team is what I like about it. He's thinking triple here, touches the bag.
Preston Barr towards center field. Chance to plate another run. So the sacrifice fly off the 11th hitter of the inning by Preston Barr brings home Oliver Service. Cameron Schaefer is scheduled to bat. He was pinch hit for by Elliot Niederhood here in the 3rd inning.
Now batting for Michigan, number 8, Elliot Niederhood.
So Elliot's going to get a second chance to bat in the inning. The bases for once for Michigan are empty. Think about it. Elliott has pinch hit twice in the inning, John. Oh, that doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, it certainly does. But I'm looking at out on the field at this Indiana team, and I'm trying to see what their reaction is to all this. And of course, they're down, and you know they are.
Probably shocked.
But the one thing I've noticed, including Brian Wall on the mound, he's, you know, nobody's blaming anybody and stuff, and that's a great sign. This team's going to bounce back. I know they're going to play well their next game.
That scorched to center field, but in play. The wind held it up. And the inning is over, and the catch by Cole Hewitt. Jaron Purify, 2 doubles, a triple, 3 runs batted in, 3 runs scored. Down the left field line has been his operating procedure, his office, in a 9-run Michigan 3rd. Focused on fun, fitness, and fundamentals, the Little League journey starts with T-ball. Visit littleleague.org/T-ball for a free 10-week practice plan. to keep the youngest little leaguers moving, having fun, and learning the games of baseball and softball. Jim Barber and John Gregory, last chance for Indiana before the 10-run rule kicks in, as Indiana must score 3 in the inning to prolong the game, otherwise we're done. As this electrified Michigan offense has just exploded today. Brennan Hill in relief of Ryan Knable. So you're Brian Jackson. You're going to have to talk to your guys afterwards and get them back on point. I know baseball, typically guys have short memories.
Yep.
But they are 11, 12, and 13. What will his message be?
Well, when I think about it and I see some of these kids' reaction after these games, their memories may be a little bit shorter than the big leaguers too. So I think they're going to get over this thing quickly and get out. And that goes back to that loss to Highland that I talked about. That coach said that made them a better team. I think that those situations you learn from. And they'll be back.
Michigan now 2 outs away. You know, lost in the shuffle, what Michigan has done is the fact that that was strikeout number 9 from its pitching staff.
For Indiana,
the lone hit was Maxwell Alexander's base hit in the first inning for New Albany.
I said earlier, I think this team's built around, it's just the opposite, hitting, then defense, then pitching. Well, they're getting a pretty good pitching performance, especially out of Brennan Hill. Think about this, when he came in the second inning, it was a 3-2 ball game with runners on, and he got 2 strikeouts to get out of that inning, and it really turned for them after that.
This is Blaine Hamilton, the first baseman. Final game being played today here at Grand Park in the Little League World Series for either the Midwest or Great Lakes. Tomorrow will be elimination games, as well as Friday. Michigan will be headed to the championship. Right now, Michigan has outscored the 3 teams that will have beaten 33-6. 1-out walk for Blaine Hamilton. Think about that, John. Plus 27 over 3 games.
Tough to do, I'll tell you. They've done it, as I say before, they've done it in a classy way, too. Respect. And you ask about Indiana, how sometimes as a kid, you know what you're playing against, and so, there's better players. I've been beat up before too, and sometimes, when they say tip the hat to them, as a kid, you understand. There's some good players out there, and they just had a better day than us.
The day started when Reggie Sharp led off the game with a single for Michigan. In its half of the first, Jaron Purify followed with a double, and they were off to the races. Gavin Rand's the pitch hitter. Favorite team, UK, the Kentucky Wildcats. Toward left field, but caught by the shortstop, chance for a double play. And the game is over. Michigan, by way of the 10-run rule, finishes off Indiana on a 1-hitter.
Pretty impressive outing by Michigan. 14 runs on 12 hits. They only gave up that 1 hit. And for Indiana, 3 errors, uncharacteristic of them. But they'll live to play another day. And congratulations to this Michigan team going to the championship. And I bet you this Indiana certainly has a lot of fight left in them.
So Michigan 14, Indiana 2. Can anybody beat Michigan at this point, John?
Good question. It's going to take a great pitching performance for that to be done.
Great to work with you again, buddy. We'll see you during football.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Upcoming television schedule, all on ESPN. Ohio and Kentucky elimination game Thursday at 5. This is in the Great Lakes. Friday at 5, it's Indiana versus winner of game 8. And on Saturday, Michigan in the title game against the winner of game 9. Also on ESPN in the Great Lakes. So for John Gregory, Jim Barber, Clay Matvick, and Chris Burke of ESPN will take you the rest of the way. Enjoy, fellas. Over from Westfield, Michigan with a 9-run third. Stays undefeated, beating Indiana 14-2. More baseball tomorrow. Join us then on ESPN.